Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. We are once again exploring the wonders and the intrigue of the Trojan War mixed with new musical theater, a match made in heaven. This is video number 2 of Act 1, the Troy Saga. This is Just a Man.
Actions haunt my days. Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you? I'm just a man who's trying to go home. Fighting for his life. Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man.
Gut-wrenching music. Gut-wrenching. Oh, I want to weep. He's just a man. Truly. I love this idea because it comes up so frequently in Greek mythology, is there's gods and there's men. And when I say men, I mean humanity. But the gods yield so much power. They've got so much influence, and a whisper from one of the gods could drive you mad or could motivate you to do something dramatic or heroic. And at the end of the day, Odysseus and the men in the Trojan War are just men. And you find a character like Achilles, for example, who was part god, the amount of power that he had to be brought down by a man, Paris, is a great feat. Yeah. So I just love this, that we're really adding the humanity. And I love the music and the melody of this piece, and the music that Odysseus has had so far in this piece and the previous one. It's very human. And I love the fact that we're getting to see the true emotions of what Odysseus is feeling. Now, I've seen interpretations on television, like on Netflix, I think, of the Trojan War. I've read the Odyssey, I've read the Iliad, all that stuff. And I'm getting a lot of different emotion that I didn't get before. So that's really interesting and intriguing to me, to really learn more about Odysseus as a character. I think that's beautiful. Oh, and the fact that he's thinking about Telemachus as a child, and he's looking at this child and saying, I had a son that was this age. How can I do this? Let's go back. We start off with this image here, and shout out to Gigi again. Their channel is linked in the description, of creating simple but very effective animations and graphics for this music. I think that's fantastic. But it seems like we've got sort of a mess of bodies and fighting and chaos happening in the court, while Odysseus is having the chaos up here in his brain. He's definitely a brooder, Odysseus. He's always thinking, but he's struggling right now. Look at the difference too. Not only does he have a beard, but there's more lines on his face. He's battle worn. He's older. He's probably wiser, but he's definitely had a hard time. God.
These actions haunt my days. Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you?
Ugh, it's making me so sad. I definitely want to sing this song. I want to sing it right now and learn it and perform it somewhere. Beautiful. And you add the cello in there. It's going to add some emotion. But he's got the knife and he just close your eyes. He can't do it. Again, it's Zeus, right? Zeus gave him this vision, told him that this would happen, foretold the future. But he's just a man and he doesn't know what to do. I mean, I know what happens eventually, but at this point, he does not know what to do.
I'm just a man who's trying to go home, even after all the years away from what I've known. I'm just a man who's fighting for his life. Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man. But when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does the reason become the blame? When does a man become a monster? Does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? Forgive me. Does a man become a monster? Forgive me. I'm just a man.
I think we were given this black screen at the end so you can see your face. You can see your reaction at the end of the video. Oh, God. I love this. I think this is so fantastic. I mean, these stories are hundreds and hundreds of years old, and they've gripped readers for that long as well. I just love any interpretation where we take these classic characters and we learn more about them through interpretation. And we learn more about their emotions and their triumphs and their failures and their faults and all these things. Because let's not forget, even though it was hundreds and hundreds of years ago and the language might be different and the translations might make things look very, very different, they were human beings. We were human beings. Whether it's mythology or if it's history and fact, they were humans and they were complex and had emotions and everything. So he took the baby and he's holding it over the edge. He's crying too because he knows he's going to commit this atrocity that will scar him for life. But then he says, when does a man become a monster? And I think it works on two ways. He saw himself in the mirror. We're going to go back and look. But he saw himself in the mirror as the monster, but he also saw the potential for this baby to then become a monster as well. That's what I'm getting from this. Like he's looking at it from the point of view of like, okay, when do I become a monster? At what point, what deeds do I do that I've sort of lost my soul? But then he looks at the baby and says, but if I'm fighting to protect my family, I have to do whatever it takes. It doesn't make it any easier, but that's the logic coming in from Odysseus. So let's go back a bit. I really enjoyed this part where he's sort of getting flashbacks and visions from his previous life before he left for the war. So his son, Telemachus, was young. Penelope was there. He was younger. He wasn't as scarred and withered as he is now. And those memories are not helping his decision right now.
I'm just a man who's trying to go home, even after all the years away from what I've known.
Okay. That was a beautiful melody, right? Stunning, stunning. And I think it's a really good reflection of who Odysseus is deep down. So there's beauty there, there's intelligence, there's complexity, but the current situation is forcing him to do something that goes against his nature. I think this idea of I have to do whatever it takes to protect my family is trumping whatever is true deep down on him. Now, musical shift here. Can you hear it? It's going to shift right now.
But when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does the reason become the blame? When does a man become a monster? I'm just a man.
I love this. I love it, love it, love it. I think there's so much we can interpret and there's so much complexity in this. I've said complexity like 15 times just because it's making my brain spin in the best way possible. But think about the fact that he's a king, king of Ithaca, and he's not the main king of this expedition, but he is one of them. But can you just imagine the weight on your shoulders of this 10-year-long campaign? Like just the weight of it is unbearable to even think about. Then he comes to this decision and this horrible, horrible moment. But yet the music is very, very light and it's in his kind of falsetto-y mixed sound. It's sort of breathy in a way. Because when it comes down to it, he just says, I'm just a man. And I think that's really, really fascinating that the composers decided to make such a thin texture at the end for such a heavy, heavy decision.
I'm just a man.
And I think that juxtaposition of that difference is really, really important. These are sort of the unsung heroes of music where we don't even fully realize it maybe on the first listen through, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes musically that plays on our emotions and plays tricks on our brains. Let's listen to that ending again.
I'm just a man.
It's almost like he's begging forgiveness in that moment, saying, I'm just a man. What can you expect of me? It's not even that he's not looking for blame, because I think he's the kind of man that will own up to the decisions and the actions that he's made. But I think to himself, he's just saying, I'm just a man. I'm sort of at the will of the gods here. And then I know, because I know Greek mythology, but I'm very excited to see what comes next. Ooh. Does this music not make your head spin a little bit? And I'm so thankful to you as the audience, and I'm so thankful for this kind of setup in general that I get to hear these pieces for the first time in such depth. Because if I was listening to this on my own, I would listen to it and enjoy it, but I wouldn't necessarily spend the time or the energy adding so much thought into it. And because of that opportunity, I get to enjoy it on such a deeper level. It's really quite an honor and a privilege to be able to do that. These are stories that I love, and I'm so excited to have them expressed in a different way. That's so fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, which I sincerely hope you did, make sure you check out the playlist of this musical because I will be doing all the videos. So make sure you stay tuned. You'll also enjoy the other videos that are popping up on the screen. Thank you very, very much. I'm very, very excited for video number 3. What comes next in this epic adventure of music and drama and mythology. I can't even fathom it. I'm so excited. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.